Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Midnight in Miami. It's your boy, Juan Gamero, the Pharaoh, the poor man's Robert De Niro. That's a bar. That's a bar. That's a bar. I haven't heard Danny drop a bar yet. I'm accompanied here by ill-logicz.
What's going on, y'all? Ill-logicz.
And today we have a very special guest. We have Danny, the Colombian Warrior, Chavez.
Thank you.
How you doing today, man?
Thank you. Very good, very good.
Before we continue, I appreciate you coming out, man. I really
appreciate
do.
the invite.
Danny's actually mid fight prep. He has a fight coming up Friday, the 13th, if I'm not mistaken, at by Global Legion FC, home of the fighter, and it's gonna be at Florida National Guard in Flamingo Road in Miramar. Danny, how you feeling? How you feeling? Basically, 2 weeks out from this fight.
You know, I've been already very experienced. This is my 13th fight. I almost forgot the number. This is my 13th fight. This camp, I feel very good. Great. You know, the closer you get to the camp, sometimes you get sometimes a little injuries or stuff that doesn't let you train so well. Getting closer to a fight, this one it doesn't. I feel healthy. I feel great. Compared to all the other camps I had great camps before too, but this one I feel amazing. You know,
for the people that you're basically their first actual first-hand experience or first-hand knowledge into the inside world of MMA. What do you consider a fight camp?
Well, to me, a fight camp is is a lot of work you gotta put in the gym. It's not just by training hard. It's a lot of things you gotta do. You know what I mean? You gotta train hard. You gotta market yourself through the training too. You know, marketing is part of the fight camp. If you don't market yourself, nobody's gonna know you. All right, and if nobody knows you, you're not gonna make money. You know, no matter how good you fight, you gotta know how to market yourself. You gotta go and put yourself out there. Eating good too. You know, and recovery. You know, recovery, and I don't mean recovery just means sit down and rest. I mean, like, I gotta do a lot of things. I gotta go do yoga. I gotta go get massages, cuppings, acupuncture, a lot of stuff.
How often would you say that you have to get recovery treatment done, cupping, massages, etc.?
As much as you can.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Like, I think like the only reason MMA fighters don't get that many is because we don't get paid that well. You know what I mean? I know big stars, NBA players, they get massaged a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I had a friend that, well, I have a friend.
There you go.
He left with Miguel Cabrera,
okay,
baseball player.
Okay.
He used to be actually my physical therapist, and he ended up leaving with him because he hired him.
Yeah.
And last time I checked, I know that he gets massage like in the morning and at night. And this is a baseball player. I'm not trying to take nothing away from them.
No, yeah, of course.
This is a baseball player.
I think you're about to go through a little bit more. Yeah. Come on.
You know, MMA fighters, their bodies get beat up more, so I think you need to have a little bit more. I get 3 times a week.
Okay.
You know.
How long would a usual fight camp last? And is it towards the beginning of so is it towards the latter end of when you have the fight, you know, the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, etc.? Is it in the beginning? When is your most intense sparring or the most intense workouts? How does that work out?
All right. Actually, I was talking to my manager about this on the way here. That since I have different camps, I have different moments getting ready for a fight. Normally, we would like to always have 9 or 8 weeks.
Okay.
You know, because at the beginning, it depends what shape were you in before you started. If you're in good shape, then you just maintain it and you start amping it up in the middle of the camp. So I'll say by the 6th, 5th week, you start putting a lot of work. Because the thing, what you don't want to do is that last week, like for example, this is my last week training hard. I go hard, but I gotta be safe. Can I get hurt for next week? But I gotta go hard. You know what I mean? Because now, you know, we're a week away. You will still want to have your body feeling good, and mentally, you want to feel good. You want to know you pushed. I done before where I started very hard at the beginning, got a little hurt, didn't finish strong the camp because I had to limit myself. There was things that happened, and I couldn't do wrestling or I couldn't do certain things. And so I think like it depends where you are. If you were out of shape, not really training that much, you were not even maintaining a good shape, and you just want to take a fight and you start very hard at the beginning, you could get hurt. And then what's gonna happen leading to the getting to the fight, those last 3-4 weeks that you need to put in hard work, you can't put it, and that's not good for you. And mentally, you don't feel you feel a little like not putting in that much good work. The fight's coming up, and those things happen, you know. But like I said, it's my 13th fight, so I already had so much experience that now I kind of know how to like start, you know.
It's not your first rodeo.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's up, man. So how frequently do you work out? Because I've always seen, and I mean, again, I know Juan goes to, you go to an actual gym, Fight Club.
Shout out to Fight Club.
Come on, somebody.
Gang.
I work. It's my job right there.
I go to a regular gym, man. I go to a 24-hour fitness gym. You feel me? So we don't have, so I mean, what's it like? Because I only seen it in movies. Rocky being one of my favorite movies. But when you're watching these movies, I can imagine you're like, that's not really how it goes. I can imagine that. So is it like an everyday thing, or is it?
Yeah. You, like I said, you gotta know your body, and you gotta. When you train every day, it's not just go crazy every day. It's drill, a lot of drills, just so your technique, your movement, your reflex, and you gotta pick the days you want to go hard, and not only the days, because remember, mixed martial arts has a lot of sports in it. It has wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, kickboxing, boxing, capoeira. It has a lot of things. It has mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
So you have to pick the days that you say, okay, today I'm gonna go hard in wrestling.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take it light with my striking. The next day I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go hard with my jiu-jitsu, but I'm gonna take it a little lighter here. And like that, because if you go hard 2 or 3 times a day, you're not gonna make it through a week.
Yeah.
And if you do make it through a week, it's just it's kind of like there's a thing we say that you could peak too early. You peak too early, you get to the fight, you're not even peaking no more. You peaked earlier than that. Yes, because we only get to a certain level and then we start dropping again. You know, your body goes like this and then it plateaus and it drops and then you could pick it up again, but you do not want to be in the down side. So,
what do you think is I guess a responsible amount of time to wait in between fights?
I would say it's all depending on your health. It depends on the fight you had before. If you went 3 hard rounds with somebody and let's say you
went to war, you
got dropped in one of them or something, because that's a concussion right there.
Yeah,
you already have any concussion. You already have to give yourself 30 or 60 days, 30 or 60 days to recover from inside your brain. You know what I mean? So I would say but if you had a good fight, you knocked them on first minute, you didn't get touched. You could take another fight like in 2 months, 3 months. I think it's fair, just because like no matter what, how good you did in that fight will be in the first minute, your body's gonna drop eventually because you peaked already. Your body's gonna drop. You're not gonna maintain that peak level. It's never gonna happen. It's just I've never seen that happen.
Yeah. So Danny, I have the privilege of actually knowing you personally. And I've seen you not only train, but I've seen you train others. What do you feel now that you've gotten the chance to be able to, I guess, bestow your knowledge upon your pupils? What do you think is something you wish you would have known when you were younger, or something that maybe if you were your own pupil today, what is something you would teach yourself?
Not take time for granted. I took time for granted.
Yeah.
A lot of times I thought I was just young. I was like, oh, I got time. I'm 23. Yeah. Oh, I got time. I'm 25. God damn, I'm 32. Now I ain't got no time. Now it's go time.
Turbo.
And I think if I would have been younger and I would have known this, I would have been this guy that I am right now when I was 23. And I think I would have made bigger things. So, I've still got a lot of time left, but I think like when we're young and this is a tough sport,
It is.
I think like when I was young, I took sometimes time for granted. I thought like I'm young. Oh, I'm 25. I got to like 10, 15 more years in the sport. Now I'm 32. Now I look at like a window of 5 to 8. That's the difference.
So maybe a little procrastination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
It does happen. What do you what are you looking forward to? What do you look forward to when you get in the ring? And kind of a little bit behind that, what is the reasoning behind your getting in the ring? Because there's some people, so, you know, there's always going to be that argument of, you know, do something that you love, do whatever it is that you love. And, you know, that's a very optimistic way to look at things and a beautiful way to look at things. But then there's some other fighters that I've heard talk about, you know, I'm not picking flowers. I'm getting punched in the face. Like, I'm going out there because I want the money. I'm there to provide for my family. Where do you stand on this?
Well, when I was 19 years old and I first started, I did not look at the money because I didn't even think about the money.
Yeah.
That's not what I really did it for.
Yeah.
If I would have thought about the money, this would not been the sport I would have got in.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. This was not. I would have been a boxer.
Yeah.
Or I would have. I don't think I said I'd be balling, but I'm 5'8". I don't think I would have been in the NBA. You know what I mean? But that would have been the sport. You know, have you seen the contracts? $200-300 million contracts for 4 years. God damn, you know. No, I did it because to be very honest, I grew up with a lot with fighting. I always liked it.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna say I'm a born fighter like everybody says. Well, I was a born fighter. No, I was born to do great things and whatever I wanted to do.
Okay.
If I want to be a fire-ass chef, I would have been a fire-ass chef.
Fire-ass chef,
Exactly.
yo, come on.
But I decided to be a fire-ass fighter. That's how it goes.
Little creme brulee.
Yeah. That is fire.
It's fuego.
But I decided to be a fighter because I think the things that lead me up to that is just the way I grew up. You know what I mean? I grew up in Colombia. A little different place. You know, you fight a lot in the street. You fight your friends just playing soccer. You know what I mean? Grew up with cartoons, with fighting, Dragon Ball Z. Shout out to Dragon Ball Z.
DBZ.
And always liked it. You know, when I was growing up, I thought karate was dope.
Okay.
You know, one of my favorite actors of fighting was Jean-Claude Van Damme. I thought he was like the shit. You know,
Yeah.
everybody thinks he's the shit. You could curse here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do your thing, do your
No
thing.
limits. All right. You never know.
No, you're
All
good.
right. And then, you know, got older and I didn't know about MMA that much. Yeah, I used to go play pool and I used to watch it on TVs. You know, I used to go to this place called New Wave. And I used to play and I used to watch it, but I never really paid attention.
I've been to New Wave. Okay, yeah.
I never really paid attention. I was like, and then one time one of my friends, Alex, I'll never forget that. He told me, oh, I'm going to go watch The Ultimate Fighter. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, oh, it's a show where everybody gets together and they fight.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's go watch it. And as I watched it, I'm like, damn, this is dope.
It's like the Jersey Shore of MMA.
Yeah. It is. And I'm like, damn, this is dope. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I think I could do this. You know, I believe I could do this.
Yeah.
And that's how I got in. That's how I started. And it's been a great journey.
Colombian Warrior. Gotta tell me where did it come from? Who gave it to you?
It was so
How'd
good.
that originate? Huh?
I give it to myself. Yeah, you know, nicknames not supposed to be like that.
Nah, that's good.
No, a lot of people say
Okay.
nicknames. People are supposed to give you your nickname, but I didn't like the name that they were giving me.
Well, can you
Raptor.
give me a taste of prior nicknames?
Raptor.
What?
My friends were calling me Danny the Raptor because I was shredded, and it was one stupid day that I was doing the ropes. And they said that I looked like a little dinosaur doing it. But I was ripped as I was doing it.
Oh,
so they were like, oh, you look like a little raptor. That should be your name. And I'm like, hell no.
Are you a fan of the Raptors?
No. You know, no Drake in my life.
No?
No.
What?
All right, so not saying nothing against him. I'm just saying no Drake in my life.
You heard it here first. He tried Drake.
You can get around with him, Drake, if you
Yeah,
need
you
to.
can get around, boy. If the money's right. You
Yeah,
know
but
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
with him when he was beating the Golden State Warriors. So I was with him there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 'cause I don't like the Warriors.
Wha-
Even though my nickname is Warrior. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. You know?
That's the first I hear of you not liking Golden State Warriors.
No, you know, it's funny when they played against LeBron the first time. I was going for them when they were 72 and no, before that, before they went to that crazy record.
Yeah.
I was with them. I liked them, but then they got a little too cocky, a little too much, and I was like, you know what? I don't like y'all, and that's how it goes. I don't like people that they get too cocky. I don't like it.
Speaking about people that get too cocky, what are your thoughts on? I mean, not that he gets too cocky. Rightfully so, he's cocky. But I know we were talking about the Masvidal Nate Diaz fight. And in the beginning of the fight, you know, especially with the fake knee attempt or knee run, and then also just, you know, playing very loosey goosey. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, I always tell fighters, especially my guys, you know, I'm like, look, until you don't find that place in the sport where you could just be free and be yourself. Don't do things like that. You know what I mean? Learn the sport. Learn the sport, be in it, get the experience you need, and then you could start showboating. That's fine. I don't like the guys that start showboating at the beginning of their careers. You don't even know how to throw a jab right. You don't even know timing yet, right? You don't even know that, you're putting pressure on yourself that didn't need to be there. The fight itself is a lot of pressure already. You got a guy across the cage that wants to kick your ass and wants to knock you out, put you unconscious in front of your family. And you want to go and put your hands down, put your chin up and dance around? No. A guy like Mavdil is a whole different level. This guy's been fighting for a very long time. I've been watching him since a long time, since I first started. I was a white belt because I came from the same gym at the beginning where we went to another gym. I'm not going to say the name. Don't need to. But we came from the same gym. I was a white belt when he was like the star in the gym. And he's always been like that, but he's gotten more like that, but I believe it's because, one, it helps him. It really helps to the fight. Sometimes, you put your guard down, you bait them in, and then boom, you catch him with a counter. You know what I mean? When they say that when you get hit and you smile, it's because you really felt it.
Yeah.
I feel like he does that sometimes just to make you think that, Like I said, when you're that experienced, like he is, because before he got to the UFC, people just think people just know him from the flying knee. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't know him before that, or the Darren Till fight. A lot of people didn't know him before that.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows him because of the last 2 fights. But this guy's been fighting internationally, everywhere. Yeah. He's been fighting in a lot of different organizations before he got to the UFC. So this guy has so much experience right now that I think he has the right to do whatever he wants.
For the listeners that we have that are not as well versed in the world of MMA as you are, what is it may sound kind of stupid, but what's the difference between MMA and UFC?
Oh, yeah, that was stupid.
I know the difference. I know the difference.
No, yeah.
But there's people that think that UFC is the only organization out there.
UFC is a promotion. That's about it. That's a brand. MMA is a sport. It's different when you say basketball. It's different when you say NBA.
Yeah.
NBA is the promotion, the organization.
Yeah.
Basketball is the sport.
Yeah.
MMA is the sport. UFC is just a brand.
Got you.
That's all.
And do you think that there's other, like for example, Bellator, or do you think that there's other companies that could ever give UFC a run for their money, or do you think UFC is kind of gonna be on top for a while?
I think that there was only one time. That's just my opinion. I think there was only one time there was an organization that had that chance, and that was Pride.
Pride, yeah.
I think Pride was the only organization at that time. And the only reason I say at that time, even if Pride, let's say, has a lot of money, wants to come back, nah, too late.
Too late?
Too late, yeah. It was at that time because UFC at that time didn't have fighters that locked into contracts. Fighters were hopping. Some people were coming from Pride to UFC. Some people from UFC were going to Pride. And people had open contracts. UFC wasn't even making that much money. Wasn't even that. So you were getting one pay-per-view a year. Have you seen how many pay-per-views you get now?
Yeah.
You get a lot. So I think Pride at that time, that Pride was hot, I think Pride could have gave UFC a run for their money. Not anymore. UFC bought them.
Yeah, they did.
They're smart.
What do you think about the move of UFC going on ESPN Plus and basically the movement in general towards a wide array of streaming services?
Well, ESPN is the biggest sports network right now, so that was the best thing they did. They were a Fox Sport. They first started with Spike TV. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, but
I used to watch
Spike is no longer.
Yeah. It doesn't even exist anymore,
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And then they went to Fox Sports, which is big, but not big enough. ESPN Plus. Now, the only thing I have a problem with ESPN Plus is just that you have to have the app. Like, you don't watch it through ESPN, the channel. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I say sometimes. I'm like, damn, why can't they just, especially the fight nights.
Yeah.
I feel like fight nights, I'm like, yeah, why they don't just give it on ESPN and we could just tune in our channels and just watch it? No, you have to have the app. But ESPN is great.
Are you a fan of the million streaming services that now we have to have? Because I know you're subscribed to a good amount. I mean, there's because you got ESPN, you got DAZN or DAZN.
I don't know how they call it.
You got we had UFC DAZN. What was that other big?
ESPN, DAZN. For sports,
For
you got
sports,
Football TV.
there's a Football TV, yeah.
is still there for sports.
Because you need Football TV to
ESPN
be able to get
Plus,
Bean,
yeah.
to be able to get Bean Sports,
Yeah.
to be able to get, which touching up on that, I know you're a big fan of soccer.
Yeah. What are you gonna bring up?
What am I gonna bring up? Maybe, I don't know, Lionel Andres Messi getting 6 Ballon d'Ors.
But you're killing the podcast, right?
Yeah.
You're killing the interview right now.
Oh, he's like, you got caught in the corner. No, but it's fine. No, but honestly, what do you think of the fact that to be able to really follow sports, you have to have a lot of streaming apps now?
You know, it's only convenient when I'm not in my house.
Yeah?
Because I have the app on my phone, so I could still watch it. You know what I mean? But when I'm in the crib, I don't want to have an app.
But I do think that the streaming services.
For example, The Zone. How am I gonna watch it on TV? I will have to connect the cable to my TV, to my phone, and watch it on my big screen TV.
Yeah.
I will have to watch it on my phone. But when I'm not in the house, it's convenient.
It's super convenient.
So, but what I don't like is when that's like, for example, the boxing fights, like Canelo, Tyson Fury.
Bellator's in the zone, right?
Bellator's
in the zone.
Yeah. Being only there, and I don't like it, just being there. I think you should have like 2 ways: one for China, one for there. That's just me.
Okay.
And to get back into the fighting, because I know in every sport it's not just physical, it's also mental. So how much of that like plays a role when you're fighting, when you're in that ring and you're looking at this person? You were saying, you have somebody across that wants to like knock you out in front of your family. So, even if it comes down to he's boasting, I can imagine if I'm fighting somebody and they're boasting, it's going to piss me off. And that's bad because then your anger just starts to kind of control your moves. So how much of that plays a role?
The mental game is the most hardest part.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
The mental game is the most hardest part. I seen, not going to give names because some of them are friends of mine.
Okay.
But I seen fighters not perform to their level. Like I seen fighters be talented. Guys that kick my ass in the gym all the time. And the guys that I just seen that I'm like, wow, this guy's going to kill this guy. And no. He went in there. The other guy is less talented, less prepared, a lesser athlete. He still won that fight.
Because he wasn't as nervous?
Because he just mentally ready. Sometimes it could just be the fight. And sometimes it could just be the mind game there. The mind game could work on his side. Sometimes it's like I tell people all the time, like, look, sometimes you look across the cage and you see the guy with a lot of confidence walking around the cage, look me muggy, he looks confident. You're like, damn, why is he so confident? But you don't know he's taking a shit just like you. He's just as nervous as you. He's the same person. It's just that in the outside, he's showing that he has a lot of confidence. And I'm not saying he doesn't have confidence inside. I'm just saying he knows right now we're both about to step into danger zone.
Yeah.
So you gotta be ready. I think everybody has their own ways of how to approach a fight. I got my own. Everybody has their own way. Not everybody thinks the same things. And everybody has the same. Some people pray. I don't pray. You know what I mean? Some people get angry in the locker room because getting themselves hyped helps them out. They start screaming before they come out, and that helps them. Some people are very quiet. They don't talk, So everybody's different, but as long as it works for you and you could get in there and be composed, you're fine.
What is it that, if you don't mind me asking, that you personally do before a fight? Get in the zone.
You coach yourself a lot. You talk to yourself a lot about a lot of things. I try not to bring any emotions in it. I don't think about my family like in the sense of like, I done it. That's why, and I didn't perform right. I won the fight, but it doesn't mean I performed right. Just because you won the fight doesn't mean you fought right. One of my things I just really like to do, I think about my biggest fears. My biggest fears is always dying and getting old. I'm always been a very active kid since I was a little kid, playing soccer. I do a lot of sports. I'll play anything, And to me, getting old and not accomplishing what I want to accomplish, it bothers me. You know what I mean? Like I said, now I'm 32 years old. I know that time is especially in the sport. Not in life, in the sport right now. My time is, ticking right now. I like to elevate my fear. Like I think about my biggest fears. So the fight, it's not as I don't have so much fear no more.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So I think about death, for example, dying and not not doing what I'm supposed to do here. You know, so right before I literally fight, like literally, as I'm in the cage, I think about like, you know what, the day I die, I'm gonna regret not kicking this guy's ass. So then I go in there and I kick his ass.
It's that simple. I mean, all you gotta do is think about fear. And,
I elevate my fears, which is
dope.
higher than the fight.
Yeah.
Once I elevate my fears, the fight is nothing.
That makes sense.
You know?
And then, again, my references come from movies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But
Your thing.
Is it true? This whole you can't have sex before a fight. Let's get down to it, man. Is this true? Like, does your coach say, "Hey, listen, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you ain't getting no pussy before because X, Y, and Z."
They
like,
say that's why.
I don't think scientifically there's a reason. I looked into it before. I think it's all mental.
He looked at me, he's like, yo,
my research.
He saw Shorty.
I normally give myself 3 weeks to 4, 3 to 4. I only do it for distractions reasons. You don't want to be like I did it one time, too close to a fight, and I feel like I got too mellow. I won the fight. Don't get me wrong. I still won the fight. I just felt like the animal in me was just not 100%. I feel like I got too relaxed. I was a little mad. I was having too much. So you need to, it's a fight game. I think like just a couple of weeks. You don't have to go 2 months. You're crazy. Yeah. You know, just go a few weeks.
Can't do that. I can't survive that.
But just go a few weeks, like whatever you think is fine for you, 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
That's fine. You don't need to go so much, but those few weeks before the fight, because you don't want to be emotionally attached right now or distracted. It's just a distraction about it. It's just a distraction. That's all.
That makes sense.
Danny, I've had the privilege of going to a couple of your fights and seeing you just have spectacular performances, some of which we'll see in a bit. Craig, if you can connect that display. But is there do you ever notice the fact that there's hundreds of people there chanting your name, and sometimes even right before you get a knockout or something like that? Do you hear that? I know it's, when you're in the moment, it's I've heard that, time slows down, whatever the case, and you're so focused into it that nothing else you can really hear. But how do you, and I guess a second parter to this question, how, if you do hear that, how do you differentiate the noise of people chanting for you and the noise or the sound of your corner giving you instructions?
Well, thank God I actually I was like by my third fight. No, by my fourth fight. By my fourth fight, because I didn't used to sell tickets. I never had people coming. I didn't like it. Like I said, I think that fight is enough pressure. And I didn't really care about bringing people or chanting me. I just like to fight. I just wanted to fight. When I started bringing people, and because that's when I got to this organization, and they asked me to sell tickets. They asked me to big a crowd. And the reason I brought a crowd for the first time is because I was gonna fight a guy that brings a crowd. So my whole family was like, "Oh, we don't like that guy's crowd. We're gonna bring the noise." But that actually didn't really help because it was my first time I really was gonna perform in front of a lot of people that were gonna chant my name, and it got me very nervous before the fight. Like right before the fight, I was very nervous. People were like, "Yo, you don't look right," and I kept telling them, I'm like, "Look, I'm fine." But it was because inside the locker room they show a TV. They had a TV to what's going on outside, and there was people with my Colombian flag. People screaming my name, and I'm like, "Oh my God," And I was 22, 23. I was very young. My first time really performing for a lot of people. I wasn't used to it. I got used to it already. Now I don't really care. I block it. It doesn't bother me in the fight. It doesn't even give me energy. What people think like, no, it doesn't. I do not care what you screaming. I'm never gonna perform according to the crowd. I'm performing according to what I think is right, and my coaches prepare me for.
So there was I believe I could be wrong, but there was a fight, I believe 2 fights ago, against Leandro.
Yeah.
Which was a knockout via punch, correct?
My first knockout. Yeah.
Your first knockout?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a TKO on amateur, but this is my first knockout professionally.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful knockout.
Yeah,
that was there.
you.
I got some video of it, but not of the actual knockout because I was too hype. I lost my shit.
Jumping everywhere.
Yeah. But do you I guess, how do I put this? Is there a fine line between wanting to go out there and, basically cause mayhem, just damage this person, And once you've actually accomplished that, once you've actually seen that person is unconscious because of what you can do and your skill and the skill set that you bring to this profession, is there a second that you, I don't want to say feel bad, but
no, we're human.
Yeah,
we're human, and we could feel that. But I only feel that same day at night or the next day.
Not after he's not when he's on the ground.
No, I don't really care.
You don't care.
No, I really don't.
You have to have that mentality. I think you have to have that mentality.
I'm sorry. You think he cares
I think
about
you
me?
have to have that mentality.
About me?
It was just so
yeah,
real.
You're right.
It was like, no, I'm good. The next day,
right.
No, actually the same night. Sometimes actually, even after the fight, when I run into him in the locker room, and you see the person down, his coaches are talking to him, his teammates are trying to cheer him up. It's a horrible feeling. You don't understand. It's a horrible. I've been there. I've never been knocked out. Thank God. Knock on wood.
Oh, there it is. He found it.
There we go.
But I've been there when I lost, and people are just here patting you in the back, telling you, yes, everything is okay with you. It's just like, man, I just put in a lot of work, and I just lost, and it is what it is. But I don't feel bad for my opponent until we're done fighting. At that moment I'm hitting him, I'm not going to feel, I don't feel bad. Yeah. No, I don't feel bad. Yeah. I had to put that killer in me to be able to go out there and kill.
Absolutely. And then how, I know the adrenaline rushes are like insane. So during the fight, I'm pretty sure you don't feel, or at least I'm thinking you don't feel as much. But how bad is that pain the next day when you wake up?
Okay, it depends like what you went through. Like I've been blessed that I never really been hurt so much in a fight, like in the sense of my face. Like I don't really get hit that much in the face. I've been ground and pound a couple of times, and even when I got in ground and pound, I feel like I never really got like so much flush hits like that, I was able to move around my face and stuff like that. But I gotten kicked many places, me kicking. Because you trying to hurt the guy, you get yourself hurt too.
Yeah.
Of course.
I had fights where, the next day I'm waking up and it hurts.
I'm calling out of work today.
It hurts to get up from your bed. You're like, oh man, everything hurts. Everything hurts.
But then you take that CBD sponsor plug.
There you go. Fight back,
Actually, this is the one that we're talking about.
Look, right there, I just wanted to hit him again. And then right there, I wanted to hit him again.
That's a good, nice story.
And if he wouldn't have pushed me out of the way.
I call that tucking in the blanket.
If the ref doesn't push me out of the way, I keep hitting him. That's the thing. To be honest, if the ref does not take me off of him, I will keep hitting him.
Yeah.
And to be very honest, I felt them go out.
Boom!
Right here. Boom. Boom. Right here, I felt them go out. Right at the moment I felt them go out, I hit him again, and I kind of woke him up again.
That's beautiful.
No way.
Yes, he kind of reacted to that because he went down. He got stiff, and then there's another hit. He kind of like reacted to it. I would have kept hitting him.
And that's a better love story than Twilight, honestly. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's wild. Look at that.
So that's why you have to have good refs to do a good job and recognize these moments. Because if not, I would have kept going. There was no stopping me at that moment.
Do you think he was... Oh, the ref has to be on top. Okay, let's talk about refs, because there's good refs and bad refs.
Yeah.
He's like, I got shit to say.
Yeah.
So, I guess don't give me examples of names or whatever the case, but what would constitute a good and a bad ref?
Look, I think refs, you cannot be a fan of the sport and just do this job because you're a fan. All right, I don't think you should be able to do it. I think you should be able to do it because you were a fighter, you did some martial arts, and you have to understand these situations. If you don't understand these situations, you're gonna make a bad call. And even a good ref could make a bad call.
Like Herb
but as long as it's not consistent. You know what I mean? I don't think Herb Dean is that bad. Like I'm
saying that was a bad call though.
When
when he wasn't, what's his name? With was it Till and I think it was.
No, I think about Robbie Lawler and Haskell.
Yeah, Lawler. Yeah, okay. My bad.
But you know what? That was very, very tricky because that guy's arm went limp in a way. So
he had a thumbs up. But
the thing is that
put Robbie Lawler.
See an arm.
Put Robbie Lawler and Askren,
and then just go limp like this. A ref told you before in the locker room, if I see any signs of you going out, I gotta go because you got to understand that the Askren had a squeeze. And he squeezes hard. He has a good choke.
Yeah.
You don't know
if
what you have to understand is that let's say he really went out. Let's say he really went out. You know what I mean? That your body went limp. No, boom. All the weight went down. Like you don't have control of your body weight. And he keeps squeezing that. What if you would have messed up that neck more?
Yeah.
What if you would have broken his neck? So then you would have been like, oh, he should have stopped it earlier. You didn't see the arm go limp. So you know what I mean? It was tricky. And if you know, there's a lot of good revs, there's a lot of bad revs, you know. To me in Miami, we have one guy. Shout out to Mike Cardoso, one of the best refs to me. He's the best ref in Miami. But you have to have some experience in MMA because for you to make these calls, you have to know what's going on, and you have to know that you've been in the situation, or probably not exactly the situation, but you understand what's going on.
Yeah, but you know what's going down. Yeah. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, and that's a fact.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think he was late?
Who?
For your fight, for your knockout?
No. The guys, the refs did a good job.
Yeah?
Yes, because like I said, he did win limb. So technically, right when he went limb, he just got a concussion right there. Actually, I think getting dropped, he already got a concussion. And I just gave him another one. So he just got 2. And he's about to get 3, and then 4, and then come on, man. You know what I mean? The ref did his job. He pushed me out of the way when he was already... Yes, I brought him back a little bit, but I could have put him back again. You know what I mean?
There's also a notion I feel from people that don't really watch the sport too much, that even though knockouts are very common, I guess common in the high level, a fighter can't. There's only a certain amount of knockouts that you can have in your life before it's like, man, you got to call it a day. Do you agree or no?
That's a tricky question because you know what? I will use Manny Pacquiao as an example.
Okay.
You know, because Manny Pacquiao, before he became Manny Pacquiao, he got knocked out twice very cold.
Yeah, he was.
Very cold early in his career. He got very cold. Now, I'm not talking about Marquez. That was another one. That was the famous one. But the earlier before his career, before he became Manny Pacquiao, when he had those crazy wars with Marquez, and then he came and beat De La Hoya and everybody else, he already had gotten knocked out very bad twice. So, and in the sport boxing, you're still getting hit a lot. In the wars that he had Marquez, they were getting dropped back and forth. So, and look where he's at right now. He's still fighting and beating great guys. So, I feel like in MMA is different because we don't take as much punishment as boxers do. Boxers get hit a lot in the head. That brain gets rattled. You've seen I think this year there's been 2 deaths of fighters after their fights in the ring. So I think MMA doesn't go that way. I'll use another example, Rafael Dos Anjos in the UFC. I remember watching him, and I used to always think of him as a guy that's just going to have 2 wins, 2 losses, a win, a loss, 2 wins, a loss, a win, that kind of record, you know what I mean? And he became a UFC champion, you know? And he got some bad knockouts. Like I remember he got knocked out by Jeremy Stevens, a nasty uppercut where his ears were wiggling. After the uppercut, you should see his ears wiggled, and he got dropped. I remember when Clay Guida broke his jaw with elbows. You know what I mean?
That's a beautiful fight.
And he still became a champion. And to this day, he's still a top fighter right now. You know, so, and he got, recently, the one when he lost his title was to Eddie Alvarez, getting hurt. Like he was getting hurt. So I think I don't really want to, because the thing is that what happens is that you see all the fighters go through the same thing, but they do go on a downfall very hard. And I would say Jens Pulver went through that. And I love Jens Pulver. Jens Pulver is our UFC vet, you know. I actually had the pleasure to meet him on one of the Titan FC's promotions that were going down here. I saw him. He was one of the guys I looked up to while I was fighting. And he's the kind of guy that, yeah, man, people were saying, like, man, you jab him and he falls. You know what I mean? And I was to think, man, I don't think it's just the jaw. At the same time, I think it's your mind. I think your mind already connects, and you just don't have that mindset to take another punch. That's what it is. Or, like I said, it's tricky for some fighters because some fighters will show you that they're all good, and then some fighters will show you that they're not. But you said it's from knockouts because it's different performances.
Yeah.
I've seen guys lose fights, and you're like, you know what? He's done. Yeah. He should just be done.
It's horrible records. Yeah.
Like Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
Before Robbie Lawler got to the UFC, Robbie Lawler was losing a lot of fights in Strikeforce. All right. He wasn't really dominating that place. He wasn't. Then he comes to the UFC and he dominates. He became the UFC champion and defended and beat great guys until he lost. And lately he's just been in an up and down. But, you know, we all know he's getting older too already. You know, he's not in his age prime. He's like, 37, I think he is. He's a little older. But getting knocked out, yeah, like I think you could make a case for everybody differently. I don't think you could make you can't say this is how it's gonna go. If you get knocked out this many times, I'd say you should be done. No, some people I feel like they could make up for that. They could redeem themselves. Some doesn't. It happens.
Speaking about knockouts, CTE and other, I guess, long-standing brain injuries are very common in a sport like this. I mean, they're common in something like soccer just from headers, so I can only imagine, you know, fighting like this.
Yeah.
Is this something that you ever think about? Is this something you ever, when you weigh out pros and cons in taking a fight, do you ever consider, hey, is X amount of money worth a possible concussion or a possible injury that'll last me a lifetime?
No, I can't. Because at the moment I think like that, then I just can't do it.
Gotcha.
If I think of everything that is like like I said, it's like a chef thinking about when he's gonna get cut or burned, then you're never gonna cook.
True.
You can't think of you're gonna get cut one day. One day you're gonna cut a piece of your finger or a nail.
Yeah.
One day you're gonna burn yourself hard.
Yep.
You gotta, you can't think of those things. Now, do you want to have, go get some tests here and there so you could make sure everything is fine? Look, before I started, I had an accident when I was like 17 years old. Maybe mediocre accident. It wasn't a big deal. But, my neck did kind of hurt a little bit, whatever. I went to the chiropractor, everything. They did a MRI. They said I had my, right here by my neck, I had like this inflammation, like on my, I forgot what they call it. Like right, it could become a hernia. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
That was before I started MMA. I never took to that day. That was the only time I took an MRI there, and I was like, oh, okay. And
word.
And technically, right after that, like take what we talk about 2 years later, I joined MMA, and I've been choked out a bunch of times. My neck has been through a lot after that, and if I would have thought of those things, then I probably wouldn't have done this sport. So I didn't even think about that. I don't like thinking of those things because the moment you think of those things, then you stop yourself from doing those things.
What's the most you've been concerned like after a move that someone did on you, whether it be jiu-jitsu or boxing or whatever the case, something that they landed on you that you're like shit, that feels different. Like that shouldn't feel like that.
Like you're talking about like where we're doing something that I feel like I'm about to get injured big time? Or?
Yeah, like...
Well, actually it happened to me like about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was training with one of my guys, and he by mistake did a wrong move. And if it wasn't because we got to stop it, he got to recognize it was a bad rotation. He was trying to, he got me by the side of my knee, and he was gonna throw me with a trip. And if he would have landed it right, probably my knee would have popped right there on the side. Thank God he didn't. And thank God it didn't happen, because then I wouldn't be fighting this next week.
Have you
ever... it's a moment that I was like, oh my God. Not only that he just almost took me out of the fight, he's about to take me out 6 months.
Holy shit.
Because that takes time. That takes time. No, not 6 months.
Did you bitch him out?
Huh?
Did you bitch him out?
No, because first of all, he's helping me out. He was helping me out a lot for this fight, for this camp. So
gotcha.
And I believe it's different because I don't think it wasn't purpose.
Never, yeah, of course.
And it wasn't a move where you say, because there's moves that they're not allowed to be done.
Yeah.
And there's moves that it just happens. Because I've
Actually,
been hurt before, but just regular moves, and it happens because I tried to escape too hard somewhere, and I rotated, I moved the wrong way. That's my fault. You know what I mean? With him, it was because he was doing a move, and I think he just tried to take me down from the left side, and he had hooked that leg already. And when we were falling, like, I didn't have my knee, my calf was gonna stay straight, but my rest of my body was gonna land on the side. So it would have been like this, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So it would have been very bad, but thank God it didn't happen.
I would have been on site. I would have fought him. Like, look, I'm out to fight.
Let's fight for real.
And it takes you out for a long time.
Yeah,
and that's just the recovery. Then, let's say it takes you out for 6 months. You recover for 6 months. Now you're gonna get back yourself in shape. Then when you want to take a fight, you might take like a year. Oh
my God.
Speaking about moves that can't be done, there's another, I guess, notion that's pretty wrong that, pretty much in the UFC or in, that sort of MMA fight that you can do whatever you want, which is not true. What are some things that you can't do that are illegal?
You cannot hit the mohawk area, like from on the top of your head. This is a mohawk, right? The mohawk. When you do a mohawk, you can't hit that area because there's a lot of nerves there. It controls your vision and your movement, your senses. A lot of your senses are connected there, so you can't hit there. You can't hit the back of the spine with an elbow. Could leave them paralyzed. Cannot hit the nuts. Cannot hit the throat. Oh no, you could hit the throat, but you cannot aim at the. I don't think you could chop the throat. But if you throw a punch, it lands on the throat. It lands on the throat.
Back in the day, you
cannot eye gouge. You cannot eye gouge.
Yeah, but it happens all the time, man.
But you're not eye gouging, you're just poking. It's different. But you know what's eye gouging is Kill Bill right here. Bah, that's eye gouging. Yeah, exactly. You keep the eye, yeah.
That's wild.
Keep that shit.
But you were able to in the early UFCs, there was no rules, no time limit. Remember that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so there was, if you don't know, there's a little UFC quick trivia. From UFC 1 till, I think, it was like 6 or 7. There was no
no more.
More?
I think it was a little bit more.
That there was basically there were no refs, right? Yeah.
No.
There were refs, but there was no stoppages. Sorry.
No stoppages. You have to stop by giving up or you lost. Like you really lost.
Like a knockout or something like that.
I remember. I think it was in Pride. Horace Gracie fought Sakuraba for like 2 hours.
What?
Now there was a lot of grappling involved and a lot of like they were not really doing that much at one point because they were exhausted.
Yeah,
and they were just like pity punches and like whatever, but still it's 2 hours with somebody in there, I remember watch 2 hours of someone fighting and it was I wanted my money back. I want my time back because it was not like 2 hours of watching while you see guys nowadays doing 15 minutes. No. It was like 10 minutes of that and the rest of an hour and 50 minutes of boring grappling, but at that time, I was a big fan, and they were the first ones to do it. So they were the first fighters out there. So I like those 2 hours. Now I would never watch 2 hours.
When you say pity punches, I think of Kimbo Slice and Dada 5000. You remember that fight?
Yeah.
They were both so out of shape that they barely a couple punches were thrown, and there were soft punches, and then Dada 5000 fell from being tired.
Yeah. R.I.P. Kimbo.
R.I.P. Kimbo.
I think those guys didn't train for that fight. That's what happened. But I think Kimbo, on one end, he has more experience. He knew what fighting was. And, it was a boring fight. I'm not going to lie to you. I remember the worst thing is that I watched it. You know what I mean? I was like, let me just watch it. Dada had no experience. He had like 2 fight experience, I think.
Yeah.
And he was tired right from the beginning. I know he got house paralyzed like 2 to 3 times because he had problems with his heart, I think.
Wow.
But it's because you went out there to do something now prepared to be there. You know what I mean? He pushed his body to a limit that it's never even done in the gym. His body's never done that. And for the first time you do it, and that's what happened.
So the reason that that fight sold was because, they had that hype up of that beef or whatever the case. What do you think about fighters, I guess, trying each other beforehand, or as opposed to having that mutual respect? I'm a fan of when fighters go into a weigh-in or whatever the case, and they have that face-off and they shake hands.
It's part of it, right? It's part of the sport.
I like that respect, and obviously there's some people will kind of take the Conor McGregor route.
Spin his face.
I mean, not tampoco like that, but there was a fighter that spit in someone's corner. I forgot who it was, but
he got so disrespectful, dude.
But yeah, where do you stand on this? Do you have, going into this, do you have respect for all your opponents? Do you like it when they underestimate you, so they'll talk shit about you and then you kind of shut them up inside the octagon or the ring or whatever the case? Where do you stand on this?
I think a little drama doesn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean? A little drama doesn't hurt anybody. It actually feels it's good. Now I only shake your hand if you want to shake it too. You know what I mean? I'm not the first one to go and shake it. It depends. You kind of read the fighter if he's gonna beat the assholes and I'm gonna shake you back. You know, so
Yeah.
you kind of have.
Yeah.
Now I get it. On my weigh-ins, I always get in their face and I mean mug them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't talk, but I just mean mug them. And most of the time, I had moments where the guy just walks away from me too, and we just walk away from each other. So the ones that you still go like this and you just walk away. You know what I mean? You shake hands and you walk away. I don't care what you do as long as it's not fake and corny. Those are the two things I don't like. I don't like when you're faking it. When you go out there and you're
Like having a little production at the weigh-in.
yeah. Like
he does like a magic trick. He gets cards.
There's some people that do shit like that.
I think
There was someone that took a lightsaber.
that was my boy.
No way.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Jim. He knows I told him I didn't like that. I called him a nerd for that. I'm not a Star Wars fan, sorry, but I like the movies. I like the movies, but not a fan. I'm not a fan. You know what I mean? Like of the whole story and all that stuff. The movies are dope because it has action and all that stuff. But I'm not a fan of that. Like, and even with Dragon Ball Z, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I mean, that's my number one
but you
anime.
You wouldn't
but
go.
I wouldn't
DBZ
go
way?
and no. There was a guy, I forgot his name. Marcus Brimich, I think it was. He used to bring the sensor for the power levels. He brought it. He looked at his guys and he goes like you have low level.
Like you're not. Yeah.
And it was I'm not a big fan of
The theatrics.
But you know what?
Semantics,
I like the Joker. You saw the Joker recently that came out in the UFC? The one that painted his face as a Joker?
Was that,
was it?
Wasn't it Rey Mysterio? Didn't Rey Mysterio do something like that too? He had a mask that was like the Joker.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember. But this guy did it recently. He did it like literally a few weeks ago.
Oh, no.
In the UFC. He weighed in and you couldn't see his face. Then he turned around, he took out a mask, and it was the Joker like with a smile like that. But the Heath Ledger Joker, not the one recently, the Heath Ledger one. And it didn't look corny and it didn't look fake.
Yeah.
It looked like that's who he is. So I'm okay with that. When you are who you are, I'm okay with that.
Anderson Silva dressed up as Michael Jackson.
He did that. But
He did that.
But have you seen him dance? He does the Michael Jackson
Yeah, he's
moves.
not bad. He's not bad.
Don't come in and dress as Michael Jackson. You can't even do the moonwalk. Come on, man. You know? That's my thing. So
Speaking about fighters that dance, what do you think about Stylebender?
Stylebender. Okay. In what sense? So as a fighter?
As a fighter, as I guess people are calling him the next it kid, the next hot
Still,
shit.
No, like the way he fights is very entertaining. So everybody's gonna like him, and I think he has great kicks. I think his boxing's a little off. That's just my problem. I think he strikes with his head too backwards and hands forward. Like he strikes as he's leaning back, but it worked for him. That's the thing is like in MMA, things could happen. It doesn't have to be exactly the punches have to be proper thrown.
Like by the book.
By the book, yeah. You don't have to be by the book, but most likely, those are fights that sometimes you could win one here and there. It's like saying fighting with your hands down. You're supposed to have your hands up, and you could still win fights like that. But eventually, remember Anderson Silva? He got caught.
He did get
It
caught.
was working.
He did get caught.
Until he got caught. You know what I mean? So, but I think Stylebender is a great fighter. It's gonna be hard to beat him. I believe a good wrestler. Let's see what he does against a really good wrestler. Somebody that really hit their ground is what they do. That's what you're gonna see. I think strikers. I think his closest fight was Kevin Gastelum and Anderson Silva. Actually, they had a very nice fight. But no, he wins a couple of more fights, and yeah, he'll put his name up there very big already. Like his name is already big, He did the same. You saw his last fight, how he came out, bunch of dancers. And
yeah.
Now, I had one of my guys one time tell me, one of my students told me, "Oh, what if I do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna. I'm not coming out of the locker."
Oh, I remember that.
All
Shout
right.
out to you,
Yeah, Alex. You know who you are.
Alex.
He told me, he's like, "Oh, what do you do if I do that?" And I'm like, "Well, you're gonna look back and you're not gonna find a corner. All right, you're gonna be by yourself. All right." Why I say that? The same thing I said earlier. I don't mind you doing that when you're Arezano. He's experienced. He already knows the game. He already knows what he has to do. None of this is gonna distract him or bother him in the fight. This is how he feels comfortable. But for you to do it in the beginning of your career, you don't even know if that feels you comfortable. You're just trying to put a show, and you don't worry about the show. Worry about the fight. The other guy is worried to kick the guy's ready to kick your ass. Get ready to kick his.
Danny, as a fan of the sport and also someone who obviously partakes in it, what would be both your dream fight as a fan to watch and your dream fight to partake in?
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Gang.
To be very honest, I'm just very intrigued because I believe, also like I believe when I'm, especially when I'm very well, I have a very good takedown defense. And when I get taken down, I get back up. That's just who I am. I wonder what is that Khabib does to these guys. How does he feel? You know what I mean? Like, how does these guys cannot get up, or sometimes they can just not stop this guy?
Yeah.
I would love to fight that guy. I would love to know, yeah, you know what I mean? I would love to fight that guy.
You heard it here first, guys.
You heard it here first, man. Khabib, if you're listening, but we get a translator real quick, man.
Now, another fight, like I would say is a dream fight because I'll say the reason I'm saying is because I believe like not only that stylistically we'll put up an amazing fight, but I looked up to this guy a lot growing up. It was Cub Swanson.
Okay.
I think Cub Swanson is an amazing fighter. Always been a fan of his style. And he puts up some great shows, and I think like a fight between me and him will put up an amazing show.
Okay.
You know,
something that we haven't gotten to touch up on, and is a huge topic in the world of mixed martial arts, and the UFC, is PEDs, performing enhancing drugs. What's your take on it? What's your take on quote unquote legends that have like for example, you take a John Jones, or you take a Brock Lesnar, you take there's so many
Vitor,
there's so many
guys.
So many names that you can what's his
Forrest.
name that you could throw out there that they paved a legacy but tarnished it, in my opinion, with that.
Well, you know what? Like this recently happened to TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah. 2 years suspension.
And when he got suspended for this last fight because he got caught with P. Hold on, he got caught with PEDs, but it was opio.
EPO.
I said opio. Look at that. EPO.
Opioids, boy.
He got caught with EPO, which was what Lance Armstrong got caught when he got cheating from cycling. They trace back his other urine from his, because they still keep the urine from his previous fights.
Yeah,
they went back to those urines to test if he had EPO in those urines, and they didn't. It was only this fight. So it would suck for somebody that did it right all the way to that one fight he got caught. It sucks because then nobody's gonna believe you that you didn't do it before. Because what happens is that if you were so successful, why do it now? If you were never on it and you were so successful, why are you doing it now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And according to him, because I read a little bit I saw a little bit what he said, is like his weight cut was very hard, and he was like, I guess like they didn't want to like lose some of that cardio. You know what I mean? Because they was gonna be against Henry Cejudo. You know what I mean? Exactly, another great wrestler, a great fighter, and good cardio. Cejudo's an amazing. He's always been in amazing shape. So it sucks for now. Like I said, me personally, you're scared. That's how I feel. Like you take PEDs, you're scared. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be taking PEDs. You know what I mean? Like, look, we all have gifts in the world fighting. Some of us are stronger. Some of us are more flexible. Some of us are faster. Some of us could pop really a good punch. Some of us will have to be volume punchers. Like Nate Diaz is a volume puncher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cardio, volume puncher. Toughness, value puncher. So you got to do your best with what God gave you. Your God-given gifts. You know what I mean? Go out there and cheat. Like, just not a fan. I think, like, to me, personally, if you took PEDs to do this sport, you don't have confidence in yourself. You need something to give you more confidence, to make sure that you are going to win that fight. And it still doesn't make sure you win the fight. You could get knocked out still. All right? It doesn't give you a stronger chin. Don't ever forget that. It gives you better, it helps you recover through the fight easier than the other guy. While you are actually breathing heavy and this guy's not, it's because of that.
Do you think that, I get a two-parter. First of all, have you ever fought someone or sparred someone whom you knew was on PEDs?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And do you think, having fought them or sparred them or whatever the case, do you think that it's almost like a do you think it gives you an actual edge, or do you think it's a placebo effect where it's like, hey, I'm taking this magic pill. In my mind, I'm going to win because of this magic pill. So I can rely on the fact that I'm taking this magic pill or injection or whatever the case. So it's like you have that reassurance in your head. You know, I'm sure you know, but placebo is when basically they gave a hypochondriac someone, you know, they give them
a sugar pill.
Yeah, it's a sugar pill. They give
Just
them,
to make you think,
they make you think that you're getting better when in reality it's all in your head. When obviously, you know, PEDs are an actual drug, you know, it's not a sugar pill. But do you think it does have something to do with that?
Well, like I said, it should give you some type of confidence, especially like I said, through the training. I think what it gives you a lot is that it lets you train more because your recovery is better. So you're an animal in that gym. So you like I said, you know, you're recovering a lot and you're being an animal in the gym. So you're gonna go like an animal to the fight. And you know, like I said, you know, one time I fought, I'm not gonna say names, but I fought somebody that I thought, I was like, yo, man, this guy, you know, I was like, yo, this guy must be a juicer. And especially after I fought him, like a weeks later, like I'll say like months later, he put pictures and he looked gigantic, and I was like, yo, what's up? Then he fought after that, he got knocked out in the first minute, you know. So like I said, I don't think PED is gonna give you a chin. I don't think so. You know what I mean? He got knocked out. And it's somebody I suspected, and I heard that he was juicing. I heard that. So I don't think it's gonna give you a chin, but like what it does give you more confidence, and it does give you more recovery. Recovery is big deal, you know, because some people will say, oh, you know, the technique is what beat you, not the juice. And I'm like, no, but the thing is that, remember, in a fight, it gets sloppy as you get tired. But if you're not tired, you're never gonna get sloppy.
That's a bar.
Exactly.
That's your first bar. Given that it's midnight in Miami, I want to ask you, what does Miami mean to you? Have you fought outside of Miami or Florida? And even if you haven't, when you do go for vacation somewhere else, what do you think is a defining characteristic of Miami?
Oh man, first the weather. You know, everybody loves Miami weather. You know, unless it's when it's very humid.
That's a fact.
Yeah, around June, July. I think May, June, July is like a little whatever. You know, it's just too hot. But I fought in Miami the whole time. I think the only time I ever fought in Miami was in Tampa. I fought in Tampa in an amateur kickboxing fight.
Okay.
And that was the only time I went out of town. I fought here all the time. Just have not fought anywhere else, literally. So I love Miami. I like bringing the noise over here. So, but everybody loves Miami. Who doesn't like Miami?
I feel like I haven't really
I don't go to the beach as much, man. I'll be honest. I don't take advantage of my city. I go to other places. I gone to Orlando, up north, New York, and people tell me, where you from, Miami? Why are you here? And I'm like, because I live there. I don't want to be here. I'm here to, you know, they're like, but Miami's the vacation. And I'm like, yeah, but I live there.
Yeah.
You know? Like I had my cousin come in, she came from Colombia like about a year and a half ago. And I took her to the beach and she was like, oh, why? I'll be here every day. And I'm like, nah, not really. I work, I go train, I want to go home, chill with my dog,
find
rest.
parking.
Watch sports. I don't want to go to the beach and see all these crazy people. There's a lot of crazy people out there, man. It's cool.
Especially
don't get me
here.
wrong, it's cool. It's fun and everything, but there's a lot of crazy people out there, especially at night. Weekends at night.
We got some fire food, though, I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
Fuego food out here.
One thing you think of Miami is food. That's one thing. One thing you gotta think about is food. You got many different cultures here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you could eat Peruvian, Colombian, Venezuelan, Cuban, Puerto Rican, or Jamaican, Chinese, everything. You know, in Miami you find variety of foods.
That's for sure. I love it. I can't complain about that.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What if, let's say this whole fighting thing with you, it didn't work out. What was plan B, or what would be your plan B?
I had that in the back burner too.
I want to know. I mean, would you? We had a studio right now. You know, we had a studio
real.
here. You know, would you be a rapper? Would you? You know, how would
he has bars. He has bars.
Okay,
he has so many bars.
Always.
He has so many bars.
You know what? I used to have my nephew's father tell me that. He used to be like, oh, what about plan B? Plan B? And I said, The problem is that if I have a plan B, then I'll never put all my chips in plan A.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's always been my thing. But I have thought about things after this, but I have not even taken a step into it yet.
Got you.
I think if I do, then I'm gonna be 90% fighting, 10% in it. I want to be 100% in fighting.
Got you.
One of the things is I'm doing a little bit more is now I'm coaching.
Okay.
But it still involves with fighting. You see what I mean?
It's still in the
So
world.
I'm still there. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I eventually, there's other things. I have big plans for later on when I'm like in my 40s, in my 50s. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm a big politician, but I like to help the community. You know, I think
Very cool.
I don't want to really get into. I don't trust politicians. I don't trust the system.
Yeah.
But I would
Especially
like to make
right
my
now.
own. Yeah. Right now, it's just very things are we live in a
Weird
world
is
where-
an understatement.
Yes. So that's why I never really liked the whole of Plan B because I feel like then I don't execute Plan A.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's always been my thing. And then some people will tell you the other way, hey man, it works for them, it works for them. Some people, they could have two, Plan A, B, and C, and they all three worked perfectly. Good for them, but I wasn't wired that way. That's how it goes.
What's something that you've learned from coaching that you didn't know when you were just fighting?
Oof. One, being the example. That was hard. That was hard because I look at my guys and they look up to me and it's like,
They
damn.
do. They do.
It's hard for me to like do things I ask them not to do.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. And you know, you see more details in things in fighting. Since I have to like now go over these things to them, explain them, I see them more. You know what I mean? When I was a student and you just take in, which I still do. I went to my gym this morning, my coach is teaching. Even when he teaches the same move that I've seen years and years, I still do it, because that's how it goes. You know, you could lose, and when it comes down to sports, you could lose you could lose touch with the sport. You know what I mean? You have to always constantly do it so your body could always stay with it.
Yeah.
You know? But the one thing I learned is, being an example. It's a hard thing because I'm you know, I was crazy in my 20s and stuff like that, and I try to always talk to my guys and tell them, look, man, like sometimes I feel like they think that I've been this way the whole time, that I'm like the way I am right now, that's how I carry myself my whole life, and it wasn't. You know, like I said, I used to be a procrastinator. I used to take time for granted and do a lot of stupid things, get distracted, you know, females, friends, fucking around, clubbing, and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And just not choosing the right friends to, you know, giving time to the people that didn't deserve to for me to give them time. And it was just me because chilling. You know, we live in that's another thing. Miami's a party town.
Really is,
So you have to be careful, you know what I mean? But that's my main thing is like trying to be the example, trying to be a good example for them so they don't make the mistakes I made. And I thank God that I had guys, you know, people that were ahead of me that were showing me those things too. So I feel like I made less mistakes than they made. You know what I mean? Because they showed me the ways and I took some of that in, and I still made the mistakes, but I didn't make as many as they did because they showed me the way and I'm showing them the way. So I feel like when they become coaches and if they do a good job, their students are not even gonna make. At one point, I think if it goes like that, guys are gonna do the right things without having to make a mistake. Mistakes are gonna be made, no matter what. It is what it is. But you limit them, and you don't. As long as you learn and you move on, you don't stay stuck doing the same mistake. If you're stuck doing the same mistake, then you're stupid.
I've noticed that you ask a lot out of your proteges, but you also bring forth a lot. It's kind of like almost meeting each other halfway. What do you think are, I guess, 2 or 3 things that that you can't overlook when it comes to studying under you, when it comes to you devoting your time and your skill set, and you're really teaching, you know, your students moves that are very applicable, very they're real world scenarios. You know, you're teaching them legitimate shit. So what's something that that wouldn't really fly, or when do you feel that a student has lost the passion?
Respect.
Yeah.
If you don't have respect for me, then why am I working with you? You gotta have respect for me and your teammates.
Mm.
You have to. If there's no respect, then we're not working anything right here. Respect. I need a good work ethic. Even not everybody has the same work ethic.
Okay.
But as long as you meet the one I want you to have. If you have more, then good for you. If you have more, great. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
good work ethic, respect, and not be selfish. Don't
Yeah.
be selfish. You need them, they need you.
Yeah.
You know, because as much as I do a lot of things for my guys, but they need each other more than what they need me. O sea, I guide them and I show them the moves that help them, but I'm not the one with them putting my body and training with them. You know what I mean? They train with each other. You know what I mean? Of course, they train with me when we go to my gym, and so they do train with me, but teammates have to get along and have that brotherhood. If you don't have that brotherhood, it's gonna be very hard in this sport, because what's gonna happen is that you don't care about your teammate when he has a fight. He ain't gonna care about you when you have a fight.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So voluntarily, he's not gonna show up to the gym to help you out. He don't really care. And if he does show up, he's not gonna mimic the guy you're fighting, because he don't care. What he cares is to come and do what he has to do and look good. He has to look good. He don't care about you looking good. He wants to look good. And when you do care about that person, you will mimic the guy he's fighting. You will take some hits, even if you know that you could avoid them. You're like, you know what? They give him some confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's true. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's how it goes. So those are the things that I look into: work ethic, respect, and don't be selfish.
Elaborate on mimicking the guy that you're fighting, because a lot of people think that you just kind of go in there, start swinging punches, and hope for the best.
Well, my guy's different. I feel like my guy does a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I think he wrestles a little bit. He grapples a little bit. So I don't say a little bit. I just don't. I don't underestimate none of my fighters. I mean, other guys I fight, but I don't think he's great at something. I just think he does a little bit of everything pretty well.
Yeah.
You know
Jack
what I
of
mean?
all trades.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really study my fighters so much. I don't like it, because then it stops me from doing what I want to do, because I'm thinking of him too much. I'm thinking of what he does great. I gotta see what he does great, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? I gotta look at my offense and my defense. I can't just be looking at all his offense and I'm just gonna play defense, because that's what happens when you look at him and you see all his offense and you think this is what he's gonna do, this is what he's gonna do. Then I don't do what I wanted to do offensively. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking too much defensively now. I looked a little bit what they do. Just see either southpaw, either orthodox, or he ducks his head here. He likes to keep his hands where. Does he like to throw this? Just very basic, very detailed, small detail things, and I just leave the rest to the fight. I don't really like studying so much. I know there is guys that like to do it, and they're successful doing it like that. I'm not a big fan of that, and it's worked for me so far.
When Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman, he would have actually, when he would train for the fight, he would bring in phenomenal boxers, world-class boxers, and pretty much get his ass whooped for sparring.
Mhm.
And he wouldn't really show what he was going to do in the fight. When you're training for a fight, are you always trying to spar or roll with someone that you know is at a higher level than you, someone that's meeting you, someone that's below you? What do you look for?
Well, in this sport, you gotta train with 3 different types of training partners: the guys you're better than, the guys that are as equal as you, and guys that are less than you. All right, the guys that are less than you, you get to get a little bit more creative. You get to do more. You get to see things that you probably couldn't see, because the guys that are better than you are not gonna let you do those things. All right, guys that are better than you are not gonna let you get it to certain positions and stuff like that. But you need those guys to push you. And the guys are like in the same level as you. You have these crazy, what's it called? The scrambles and stuff like that. So you gotta train with all 3. The one, I think, and I actually agree with Charles Sonnen, because I was reading into one thing he says. He says that when you're already going into the fight, like very close to a fight, you want to train with the guys that are at your level and a little bit below. Just a little bit below. Before that, yes, guys better than you. But a little bit below, just for confidence, to be able to know that you're still doing great. Not that, because everybody's, like I said, not everybody's wired the same way. I could get my ass kicked all this whole entire week. That's not gonna affect me my next week. My next week, I still know I'm gonna kick his ass. Oh, yeah. There's guys that, let's say he gets his ass kicked this whole week, and he's gonna think that he has nothing for that guy the next week. So he's, like I said, everybody's wired differently. So I think you gotta train with all three: people that are better, people that are just as good as you, and people that are not as good as you.
Do you do any sort of and that's a replay for the for the knockout for the people who haven't seen it. Play that one more time. Right there. That's a beautiful. Just right. There
you go.
And then let's call it a good night. Boom. Oh, that's beautiful.
And he still calls me out.
He still calls you out to this day?
Yeah.
He calls you out?
Yeah. He called me out. Actually, right after his fight, we went back and forth on Instagram because he wanted to fight me in my last fight. He wanted to be that guy in the cage against me, but it never happened because I was like, I'm not gonna give you a fight that you lost in the first round with me. Yeah. You gotta earn it.
Of course.
You know? And then he calls me out in jiu-jitsu like about a month and a half ago. He was telling my boy from Miami Rollers, he's like, oh, tell Danny that if he wants to fight me in jiu-jitsu. And I would have fought him. I don't care, you know, but my coach didn't let me. My coach said, nah, because you have a fight coming up and let's say you get hurt. Yeah. Fighting this guy and there for what? For this guy? Like, fuck that.
And how often would you say that that your coaches or you as a coach intervene when a fighter wants to fight someone?
I do as my coaches tells me most of the time. You know, now as I got older, they talk to me more, like they let me make some of the decisions. You know what I mean? We have a good understanding. Like sometimes they're like, okay, Danny, what do you think of this? I don't like this fight, you know, but because you haven't been like I had a loss, my last loss. I remember my coach didn't really want me to fight that fight. He just felt like even if I was showing up to the gym, he just didn't feel me there. You know what I mean? But I was like, no, I'm fighting. And as a coach, he had to let me fight. And I understood because me as a coach, I did the same thing with one of my students, Justin.
Shout out to Justin.
He fought a fight that he wanted it so bad, and I did not approve that. I was like, that guy's too big. You're not a natural 45, or the guy is long, big, and Justin wasn't really training so much at that time. Like not because he didn't want to, it's just because he couldn't. You know what I mean? So when he actually fought the fight, like it went exactly, and we trained exactly how the fight went down. That was the craziest thing. We trained exactly how the fight went down, and he didn't win that. He couldn't. But the thing is that when a fighter has that fire to fight the fight, sometimes you have to let him fight it because not every, like I said, we always want to fight, but there's just certain fights that the guy says something, like you say, so could talk trash, or you just don't like him. I have fighters that I just don't like them. I just been like, man,
you ugly.
I don't like this guy. I'll fight this guy. I'll kick his ass. You know what I mean? And that's how it goes. You know, but sometimes that's why the communication. Oh, that's another thing. Forgot to say that communication is big.
Communication.
Right? Not only respect, not only work ethic, not only not being selfish, but communication. You gotta have communication with your coach, because with good communication, you and your coach will have a very good understanding of where you guys are at and which fights to do and which fights to take. Because let's be honest, everybody wants to, you know, a fighter's a fighter. A fighter's gonna fight. A real fighter's gonna fight. You know what I mean? A real fighter's you're gonna put him against a 10-0 guy. It could be your debut. He's gonna fight because he believes his coach has something for him there, and he believes his coach has him fighting the fight because he believes he's gonna win. You know what I mean? So you have to have you have to know your student, and but you have to have communication. You have to have.
Let's see this here knockout over here. It's
my boy Pipe right there.
That's his boy. Shout out to Pipe.
My boy now. He didn't like me at this time right here.
It's a beautiful leg kick, and then we brah. And that's that buenas noches right there. That's that lullaby. Play that one more time, please.
Pan con vite right there.
Yeah, pan con vite right there. Bro.
Wait a minute. How high are the cages?
Yeah, you got up there.
Wait, because
you
skipped to
up there, bro.
Man, the adrenaline you get from after that. The adrenaline you get after that when you know you won. Oh God.
This man just jumped on the top.
And
boom. When I dropped and he pushes me, I was so excited. I jump on top and I just started going.
I don't even know. That shit is like 3 times your size.
Oh, that's wild.
Nah, man, the adrenaline there, you know, this was a fight.
Hey, look at him. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Why'd you stop it?
No, he
what?
thought
What
he
do
just
you
fell
mean,
from
yo?
a kick.
You were asleep.
Yeah, he didn't know that. He didn't know
No,
that.
of
He didn't know
course.
he was not.
Believe it or not, this fight I was very
Flag.
I
Nice.
I almost slipped there. I noticed that.
And that's Justin. Shout out to Justin.
Yeah. Yeah, this fight was big. This fight meant a lot to me because I've been representing Colombia for a very long time here in Miami. I'm the best Colombian fighter out there. You know.
That's a damn fact.
And he was coming to take the spot. He's Colombian, and he was born in Colombia. I was raised in Colombia. I wasn't born there. You know, my blood is Colombian, but I wasn't born there. I was raised there.
Did he
you
have
know?
a perfect record too?
Yeah, he was 6-0, undefeated, champion
Not
in Europe, and yeah, like he came to take everything I worked for. You know what I mean? I sound like Nate Diaz a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I sound like Nate Diaz a little bit, yeah. But I've been working a lot to elevate Colombia's name in Miami, and not only Miami, everywhere I could fight. You know?
You know?
And he was just gonna come, and him, to be honest, he wins that fight, I'll be 8-4. It would have sucked because even my last fight before him that I knocked the guy out, this was more of a test than the other guy. Me and the other guy, we both came from a loss. His record wasn't big. His name was big in Brazil, but his name wasn't big here. This guy's name was a little bit bigger. Like I said, undefeated, young. He's like 24, 25 years old. And I know it's being young and hungry. So, and like I said, he was coming to claim my spot, to take away my spot. I say, I'm the best Colombian fighter now here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let that happen.
I noticed the
Hell
trend.
no. After that, we became friends. But after. I had to
Yeah.
make sure I won
Took a
first.
couple
After he went to sleep.
Yeah. But he's a cool guy, believe it or not. Very cool guy, yeah.
I've noticed the trend on your fight record, which basically is that towards earlier on in your career, you had a tendency of going the distance, going by decision,
Yeah.
whatever the case. And then your last 2 bouts, they were first round decisions. Is this a very conscious effort, a very conscious strategic game plan, or is this purely coincidence?
You know, I had this talk with one of my friends, Glenn, which is actually one of Masvidal's ex-best friend. Oh, I'm not ex-best friend because I think they're still best friends. I don't know if they are.
Sure.
But I just know he used to be Masvidal's best friend. And he told me the same thing. He's like, yo, you're going through the same phase he's going through. Like, he's not knocking everybody out now. He's out there just killing people. And I'm like, you know, I reached that point in my life that I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm saying I don't give a fuck about it. I'm just saying, like, I stopped caring so much what's going to happen in this fight. I just go out there and kill or be killed. I used to worry too much. I'm not saying plain and safe because I used to hurt people. I dropped many fighters before. I just couldn't finish them. And it was weird. You know what I mean? I feel like after all those fights, I got too much experience that now I know how to do it. At the beginning of my career, I was more of a wrestler than a striker. I had a good striking, but I was a little bit more towards the wrestling. So, you know, you go to the ground. It's hard to really like ground and pound. Guys at this weight class, we move a lot. We're very active. You know, this is not the heavyweight division. But I feel like as I got older, I just start carrying less and less, and just, you know, I was like, yeah, I got power. Why do I sometimes try to like be too clean, too perfect to a point where I'm not really letting go of my skills, you know? And now I just don't care, man. Like, now I just go in there and I'm like, you're going out. I'm gonna take you out, you know. Mainly that, you know, like I said, my boy used to tell me that, like, oh, it's your experience now. He used to tell me that he's like, your experience now, and you're at a stage where you just don't care. You know, Mike Tyson said one thing one time that he said, like, if you're trying to go for the finish, you're never gonna win a decision. You know, he used to say that. He's like, when you're the guy that wants to go and put somebody away, most likely you're gonna lose the decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now in MMA is different than boxing. It's way different than boxing because MMA, you could get knocked out by the most stupidest things. You know what I mean? You remember the Korean Zombie just recently got knocked out by the back elbow that you can't even see where it came from.
Yeah,
that guy was
ridiculous.
That guy was winning the whole entire fight. In the last 5 seconds, He could have just walked away and would have been the winner of the fight. He keeps being aggressive. The guy ducks down, throws an elbow back, boom, knocks him out. Crazy. So in MMA, it's different because MMA, you could get caught with anything. It's so unpredictable. But my main thing, I believe, in my last 2 fights is just that, one, I don't like saying I took my career more serious now because I took my previous fights very serious too. But like I'm just in the point of my life where I'm very selfish now. It's all about me now. You know, like I said, when I was younger,
as it should be.
My friends, going out, females, this, that. But now I'm like, I don't care about none of y'all.
Yeah.
I care about y'all after the fight or before I sign the contract. The moment I sign the contract for the fight is me and my soldiers and my coaches. That's it.
Damn fact. Danny, it's been an absolute honor having you on here today.
Thank you, man. It was a blast.
I really do appreciate you coming out here. On a personal note, I've seen this man train day in and day out. I've never seen him take a day off or give up or anything like that. So it's been an absolute honor to learn under your wing.
No, man. Thank you.
And before we head out, I know you got a couple sponsors that we definitely wanna shout out.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
No worries.
I don't want to leave nobody out.
Gang.
Number one, I would like to always shout out my gym, MMA Masters.
Yep.
In Doral. To me, the best gym in the world. Hands down, the best gym in Florida. You know what I mean? They've done everything for me. I've been there since day one, since they opened. Actually, from the first moment that we actually called it MMA Masters, I've been there. You know, so my coaches and my teammates always get the first thank you every time I win a fight. I don't really, you know, I know everybody plays a part. You know, my students play a part, my family plays a part, my friends play a part, but nobody puts more work than my coaches and my teammates into my career, you know.
Yes, sir.
Because there's a lot of physical things going on in here, you know what I mean? And nobody's in there sweating and punching, getting, because it's not only me getting punched, me punching them. They got to take the hits for me to win, you know what I mean? So them, First Round Management, my management company.
Yup. Shout out.
My manager right here, Antonio.
Right there. Y'all see him. Y'all see him in the frame. Y'all see him in the frame, putting in that work.
Fight Back CBD. Thank you for the Oreos, because they gave me the Oreos for me to take.
Oh, I mean them space Oreos, boy.
No, the recovery ones, right?
Recovery Oreos.
Yeah, the recovery ones. Body RX, always with their IV vitamins that they always help me to, because I'm not a guy that takes protein shakes or amino acid or nothing, but you know they provide with this IVs with vitamins, with B12s and B6 and all that stuff that's good for fighters. You know what I mean? Diamond Cup. Protects my nuts. It protects my nuts, man.
Protect the jewels, the family jewels, baby.
Hey, man, I've been kicked there once, and it really hurts. But now with that cup,
it don't
matter. Give me with a bat. All right. Stunner's Fit. That's actually my strength and conditioning coach right now. His name is Gabriel Verona. Stunner. He's been doing my past 3 camps.
That's what's up.
You know, he sponsored me. He trains me a lot. I'm actually going there tomorrow. Shop Fight Camp. They do my shirts.
Hey.
They did an amazing job with my face, painted with the Colombian colors.
Hey,
you know, with no eyes in it. It was very dope, man.
That's what's up. You got to cop one of them.
Smoothie Spot, y'all know if you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna see me always there.
Check
Smoothie
that
Spot,
story.
Hey man, the food is fire. The smoothies are fire. Everybody knows. And Velasquez Drywall, my boy. Nico, you know, he's always been hooking it up, helping me out a lot.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I don't really do nothing with drywall, but
if you need something done at the crib,
when I need something, he comes through. So that's
sometimes I'll punch a drywall just
exactly. And last but not least, Fernandez Dental. You know, they've been with me for a long time. So anytime I want to get any dental, they always go, and they make my mouthpieces, which is very important.
Yeah, they're fire.
If you don't have a good mouthpiece to protect your mouth, you're gonna get knocked out. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah, you gotta get the actual one made out of the mold.
You ever seen the commercial? The it's a meme, not a meme, but it's always been around the internet. The little mouthpieces, and the guy has like his teeth in it because it was like a.
Oh my god! Yeah, I've seen that shit.
It's a horrible picture. I hate that picture.
Like the dude's teeth is still like inside
in the mouthpiece.
He took out the
so you have to have a good mouthpiece. You have to have those custom made,
and it's in the mouthpiece.
Yeah, so you have to have those custom made mouthpieces.
Yeah, for real. You don't want that boiling water shit. Yeah.
And last one, shout out to my family and friends. You know what I mean?
Hey.
They put their part. You know what I mean? Especially when they, you know, at the end of the day, they go, they support me, they scream. And actually, no, my last one would be my students. You know, believe it or not, I have a lot of motivations. You know, one of them is me. I'm self-motivated to do things. My family, my friends motivate me, everything. But my students are one of the reasons why I keep that fire, because, like I said, now I'm the example, and I gotta put in work so that, you know, they watch me. You know, and there's a lot of pressure now. Believe it or not, I have more pressure now than I had before.
People look up to you.
Exactly. So now I gotta, like, because I show them things, and it's like, oh, let me show you that it really works.
Hell yeah.
Let me show you that what we do, it really works. You know, but like my students mean a lot to me. You know, especially, you know, I want to say especially, but the ones that fight too, you know what I mean? Because all my students mean a lot to me, but these guys are following me, you know, they're like my little brothers, man. They're like my kids.
It's like a little X-Men Institute.
Yeah.
For real, boy.
I just don't want to be Xavier. All right, don't put me Xavier here.
Bro, I got that look down pat, boy. But all right, man. We would love to have you back again whenever you get a chance. Still got a gang of stuff to talk to you about, but it's been an absolute pleasure. For everybody listening, check out Global Legion FC, Home of the Fighter, Friday, December 13th at Florida National Guard and Flamingo Road in Miramar, Florida's Fight Night. Danny Chavez is going to be the co-main event against Donald Bush, and he's going to go in there, get that W, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and race again.
That's what I'm talking about. Tune in every Thursday at midnight, or just wait, you know, the morning after, because it's gonna be a Friday. It's gonna be a vibe. Ill, anything to say?
No, man. Ill-logicz. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you again for coming through, bro. It's an exciting podcast. Really dope. Some great information. I don't have to just refer to movies anymore. I got
first-hand experience.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. But all right, tune in next Thursday. Y'all be easy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Peace out.